Hey, podcast fans, welcome back to Stories from the River. Hey, we heard you. We heard how much you liked Tim Sayles on the Behind the Scenes series from Rock Hill. Tim, I heard we had a great report at that one. Hey, so we're bringing you back behind the scenes from our town hall, our third quarter town hall. Welcome back, Tim Sayles. Hey, Tim, welcome to the pod.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Good to be here. I heard we make magic happen in front of the camera, so let's do it again.
One of us does, at least. I'm talking about you. Yes, you do make magic happen, Tim. Thanks for joining us again.
Welcome to Stories from the River, a show in which we go behind the scenes at Broad River Retail.
Now, Tim, you've been with Broad River how long?
6 years.
6 years. Since when?
May of 18.
May of 18. You've been, last time we talked about how many store openings, you've been like 50 stores.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. Now, Tim, what is your title and how many titles do you actually have at Broad River?
So I'm Director of Facilities and Construction. That's take one. Take two would be Chief Dumpster Diver, Chief Toilet Technician, Goose Wrangler, and then a lot that you probably can't say on camera. But that's all right. Well, we'll move on from that.
There's a bald something.
Yeah. Bald bombshell is what I've heard on the streets.
I think that's what Jesse was putting in the chat.
I've heard on the streets that people have been saying that.
Well, we love having fun with you, Tim. So, Tim, we had a lot of exciting updates. You had a lot of construction updates, and we love to give our construction updates. We love new stores, store remodels, store openings. You talked about growth strategy number 1, and so this is like a cornerstone of some of our town hall just content. So, what did you talk about today on our third quarter 2024 town hall?
Well, it's important to get out across to everybody that's not necessarily in the know all the time of everything, what is important to us as a leadership team. And one of the things that you and Manny have really decided to do is really invest heavily in our current stores. So it's not just always opening the new stores. Well, that's great and that's exciting. The stores that are already currently open and functioning, they need to get some excitement too and some new feelings, so new appearances. And so there's always a lot of good excitement about these open boxes currently that are going to get some new love and attention, new lighting, new flooring, new paint, whatever it is that we're going to do in those. It's really important to convey that message, and it really gives excitement, especially when we're announcing not just what we're doing, but what's coming up. Mm-hmm. And so those stores that are, some people are just hearing that for the first time, or they're starting to get excited that it's coming. And it's really a lot of fun to feel the energy on the calls. The chat's always going crazy when you're doing it. So
it's hard to keep up with the chat, but it is a lot of fun. You talk about investing in our current stores. So we put retail in our name. Yeah. If I can get it right all the time. We like to think like a retailer, and with that, a retail company would look at same store sales or comp sales. And sure, it's exciting to open new stores, but you can never forget about the bread and butter that got you here. And so the only constant at retail is change, and a customer's last experience is their next best experience. And so we've got to elevate all of our stores and our store look. And it's not just externally, it's internally, and it's not just construction and facilities and technology, but it's, maybe it's mobile technology we put in the stores with credit kiosks or with tablets for our sales force. So it's always like thinking about how to make the stores more vibrant, more selling machines, right? Performance machines. But we see a great return on investment at elevating these stores. Right now, we're, I think, on Ashley Design 7.0 for our Ashley stores and Ashley 2.0 for our outlet stores. And any store that we're going to be in for a long period of time, we want to make sure that they're the latest and greatest. And so we've got a line, and our GMs, our HFCs, they love to get their store redone. And when you look at them, you're like, oh my gosh, a lot of times you'll bring a store within a store, or you'll do an expanded sleep gallery. Talk about a couple of the ones that we completed and highlighted, because we cut the ribbon on one, I think, that had its first ever grand reopening and ribbon cutting. So talk about that one.
Yeah, so we've already done our remodel of the Fayetteville store this year, and right now we're doing another one in Raleigh, as well as we're doing a lighting upgrade in Pineville currently. And so when you're doing the upgrades of the stores, generally it's layered, right? Because it's not just bringing a new appearance to the store. Sometimes there's occupancy costs that are now getting on the right side. You're getting better. So like, take, for example, Pineville had track lighting metal halide lights, which in 2016 were great. They're not great anymore. And so now when you're putting in LED lights, you're getting better lighting for the store, which helps sell the product, helps reduce returns because it looks exactly like it's going to look in your home. And, oh yeah, you're reducing your energy costs, so throughout it. So it's exciting for on a lot of levels for someone in my position on that. But for the stores, they're able to. You have to do these projects in phases, right? So you can't just take the whole store off the grid without it greatly impacting some things. It's a decision that you make, right?
I heard you talk about 5 phases in Raleigh.
Yeah, 5 phases in Raleigh, which I saw you sweat immediately when you have five might have been too many phases for you, but it's okay. We'll get through it together, buddy, I promise. But we have you have to go in sections so that you give bite-size pieces to the construction team to be able to accomplish, but also that you can keep producing as a store. If you take too much off the grid at one time, where are you going to put all the furniture? It becomes a real imposition to the stores, more so than it's difficult to begin with, right?
I think maybe it's even bite-sized disruption.
Yeah.
There's only been one instance that I can recall where we actually closed a store for a period of time to complete.
My very first project.
Yeah, the South Boulevard. Yeah, so we closed it and sold all the inventory off and then reopened it. But no, we're still paying rent a lot of times on these stores.
That's correct.
So they have to keep operating. So you have to kind of partition, and we've gotten a lot better at that. Like for instance, you're not going to do the grinding and polishing of the floors during the day. You'll do that overnight. That's very helpful.
Correct. Yes.
The lift truck, beep, 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 going around. So you got 5 phases in Raleigh, and then what happens after Raleigh? Because you announced some other construction updates today.
I did. So we're going to go into Augusta and we're going to upgrade the sleep shop there, which that sleep shop's not too old, but we've upgraded our branding and our paint structures and all that. So we're going to get that up to speed and really make it pop. Some of the branding walls that we put in these stores now are just phenomenal and really eye-catching and help sell the product. So we're going to do that right as we're closing up shop in Raleigh. We're going to move to that. And then right after President's Day, we're hoping to hop right into Columbia Harbison Boulevard and give that store some very much needed attention. That they have old lighting, they have an old waterfall in there, and so we're going to give them new floors, new lighting, paint the store, give them a new facade signage, paint the outside of the building. It's going to look like a totally different facility by the time it's all said and done.
That's really exciting. I wish we could just snap our fingers and just. It's just not that easy. You can't snap your fingers and have them done. But it sounds like you're going to be on more town halls, because it sounds like after you'll get Raleigh Glenwood completed, we'll get it completed in January of next year. Mm-hmm. You roll into the Augusta Sleep Shop, then you roll into Columbia Harbison. I think we have more, Mooresville,
more coming,
Hickory, et cetera. So we got more stores. So you got a busy slate, and we may have new stores as well. So. And what feedback do you get from folks listening to the town hall that kind of jazzes you up or gets you excited or tells you I'm on the right track here?
Yeah. Well, I think that those people there's people on the calls that aren't even aware that we're doing some of these. So for them, it's exciting to see that we're still moving forward. We're still it's been a rough few years with COVID and all this stuff like that. And I think that they get energy from seeing that we're still progressing. We're still growing. I think the majority of us that love being at Broad River, it's because we love the aggression of this company, right?
Well, I don't know if I might use a different word than aggression. Offensive minded.
There you go.
Offensive minded.
It's all the same.
It's like James Madison against North Carolina. Maybe the offense just kept coming. It just kept coming. I think they're still scoring right now, but the score was 70-50. We digress.
We are a women's soccer school. Let's just get it right.
But no, I think what you're saying is, listen, it's good to see movement, positive motion forward, and updates in a company. Versus if you don't have anything going on, maybe you've hit that life stage of maturity and decline, and that's not us. We're not a sunset company. We're a sunrise company, and our brighter days are still ahead of us. And we need to pour back into these stores and our memory makers as part of their experience, not just our guest experience. They need to know that they've got a premier world-class store. And how can we call ourselves premier if we have some that are premier and some that aren't? Right. We got to bring them all up as well as we can.
Yeah, and I think that you feel the energy from, the stores that are currently going through the process, as well as those that we're announcing what's coming. You get to feel the energy from it. And from a leader standpoint, that's good for me to see, is that they're not dreading this coming. They're inviting it. They're excited. And it makes it easy for me to convey to the people that are working for us, hey, this is a good thing.
Yeah.
We are coming in here and we're making this better for these people. And it really it allows everybody to get fired up along the same way.
Yeah, that surprised me along the way, because it maybe initially they bristled because they were like, oh, it's going to be really tough. But we've gotten, maybe early on it was, but we've gotten better at like easing that conversion. But prior to you joining us, it was really tough.
It's still tough.
Yeah, but
you learn every step of the way.
You do, and you make it as amicable as you can, easy as you can with that bite-sized disruption that we talked about with our memory makers in the store, such that I hear all the time, hey, when's our renovation coming? Or, hey, when's our remodel? And they do really look forward to it. And so it does bring that new energy and life into the business. So I think we'll kind of keep you on the agenda for future town halls. And we can't let the Goose Wrangler wrangle his way out of it.
Nope.
Tim, anything else you'd like to say? Because I know we got a hurricane that flew through here, and you probably got to make sure that these stores get their power restored and everything else.
Yeah, it was a funny town hall call, because my phone was blowing up from roof leaks to power going out at stores, and all sorts of madness was happening. And yet some of the same people reporting that, I'm also seeing in the chat, still trying to stay active and engaged in that. And I love that, though. That's everybody trying to stay a part of everything. And, as leaders, these town hall calls are great for us, because we're people too, and they see it. Sometimes they don't get access to us by where they're located or whatever, and it allows them to see, our personalities come through a little bit on these calls, especially maybe me, but they also get to see rapport between all of us interacting with each other, and I think it gives them a comfort of the kind of company that they're working for when they get to see some of that.
Yeah, we tend not to take ourselves quite too seriously.
Not so much. None of us.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Tim, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining us here at Stories from the River, the behind-the-scenes series on our company-wide town halls from Tim Sayles, the Goose Wrangler himself.
Thanks for listening to Stories from the River. To check out more episodes, visit storiesfromtheriver.com. Join us again next week, and remember to like, rate, and subscribe to the podcast.